When I got my first motorcycle, I thought I could treat it like a car and just ride for weeks without checking anything. Wrong. Within days, my bike was worn out like I'd ridden it for years. But 3 bikes and 6 years later, I service all my bikes on my own and know what nobody told me as a beginner. These 5 quick checks will save your wallet and maybe your life. One of the most common beginner mistakes, letting your bike sit for weeks and then wondering why it won't start. A drained battery isn't just annoying, it can kill the battery way earlier than needed. I even had the situation that I rode my bike to work and 10 hours later, it just wouldn't start. A friendly biker told me he had seen that my parking light was turned on all day, so this little light completely drained my battery. I had no chance of starting the bike, so I had to call for support. And I needed a new battery because it never recovered from that experience. That's when I learned bike batteries are nothing like car batteries. They're smaller, wear out faster, and need more care. Now, how do we care for our batteries? First, always turn the ignition off. Then locate the battery, usually under the seat or a side cover. Second, disconnect the negative terminal first, the black cable. That way, you avoid short circuits if your wrench touches anything. Next, disconnect the positive terminal, red cable. Always negative first, positive second. Carefully slide the battery out. Hook it up to a smart charger or trickle charger. These chargers stop when the battery is full, so you don't overcharge it. That's key if you want your battery to last more than just one season. Here's what most people don't realize. Letting your battery go flat even once or twice can cut its life in half. A cheap trickle charger can save you hundreds in the long run. Most beginners think chains only need attention when they squeak. But by then, damage is already happening. That's why the chain needs way more lubrication than I first thought. Here's how you do it right. Put the bike on the center stand or use a paddock stand. I'm using this paddock stand right here, which is easy to use, especially for my sport bike. The width is adjustable, so I don't have to be afraid that I'll drop the motorcycle. Then some people say to spray the lube on the inside of the chain, and some say you have to spray it on the outside. I'll do both to be sure that the whole chain is lubricated. Do this every 500 to 800 kilometers, and your chain and sprockets will last twice as long. Here's the mistake I made for years. I thought chain lube was enough. But boy, I've been so wrong. Back then, I probably didn't even know what chain slack is. Lubing helps, but if your chain slack is wrong, you're stressing your gearbox without even knowing it. Put the bike in neutral and measure the vertical play halfway between sprockets. Usually you want about 2 to 3 centimeters of slack. Too tight or too loose? I'll show you how to adjust it step by step. Loosen the axle nut. Adjust the tension bolts evenly on both sides. Then retighten. Always double check with weight on the bike, since suspension compression changes the tension. Too tight puts constant load on the gearbox output shaft. That's a repair you don't want. Too loose? The chain can whip, skip teeth, or even derail completely. Manufacturers give us back in the manual. Follow it, because it's tuned to your suspension geometry. Chains connect power to the wheel. But oil? That's the lifeline inside your engine. Ignore it and your engine eats itself alive. Always check oil level on a flat surface. Either have someone hold the bike upright or balance it yourself like I usually do. Just make sure the bike isn't leaning to one side. Some bikes have side glasses, some dipsticks. Most dipsticks mustn't be screwed back in to measure the oil level correctly. Somehow every motorcycle is different and your user manual will know best how to measure it the right way on your motorcycle. My Daytona, for example, is an exception and the dipstick needs to fully be screwed in. And before you check the oil level, make sure that the engine hasn't been running for 10 minutes so that the oil could settle completely. If it's low, top it up carefully with the correct rate, not just any oil. And here's the trap. Even if the level looks fine, the oil itself can still be dead. Oil isn't just lubrication. It also carries away heat and tiny metal shavings. Over time, additives burn off, so even if the level is okay, the oil can still be dead. Another thing we can also check right now is the color of the oil. So it's not really brown, it's a bright yellow color, so I think that's still fine. For this season at least. To show you as well how it should not look in comparison to the engine oil of my Daytona, which is still fine, I got a little bit engine oil of my track bike right after the season, and this one definitely needs a change. This is the most ignored fluid on a motorcycle, and the most dangerous one to neglect. Brake fluid. I won't show you how to change it here, that's more advanced, but I will show you how to check it. Check the reservoir. Usually the right handlebar. Fresh fluid is clear or light yellow. If it's dark brown, it's overdue. And riding without fluid is just that. It can literally mean your brakes vanish when you need them most. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It absorbs water. That water lowers its boiling point, which means at a hard stop, your brakes could fade or fail completely. That's why most manufacturers recommend replacing fluid every 2 years, even if you don't ride much. If you ever feel a spongy lever, that's air or water in the system. Time to bleed the brakes.